is going to be browsers, Bluetooth, and virtual reality, and this is going to be fast. So first of all, hi, my name is Lucas. I was hoping to be in Atlanta in person, but I have a dance performance, so I'm sorry to miss you all. But if you've met me, you know that I've been speed solving a Rubik's Cube competitively for over half my life. So the World Cube Association has certain official events, and here's my profile, but I'm going to get a bit more into speed cubing later. First, let's get back into Twizzle. So Tom just showed you Twizzle Explorer, and if you go to twizzle.net, you'll see that there's also a Twizzle editor, which is similar, but it has features more geared towards speed solvers and existing puzzles. So there I can enter some moves, and here I entered some notation, and if you don't know notation, that's okay. Just know that there is a standard way that people communicate about puzzles. And this has already got all the official competition puzzles, so that's already a really cool step because there was no great way to share things for those puzzles. Even at last gathering for Gardener, I think we didn't have this ready. So that's nice, but we're adding a lot of stuff to this. So here, for example, I can use my keyboard to input something much faster than I could type out the text. So this is a move sequence, what cubers would call an algorithm, and I could change it to highlight just the last layer. This is a nice, useful thing for cubers to be able to share, what they use for solving. But there's other good use cases, like sometimes the moves don't matter as much as the final result. So here's a pretty pattern for a Gigaminx. Or sometimes you might want to share an entire solve. So here we can skip to the beginning, and this is a world record, well, the world record, the official world record fastest solve. And we can go through it slow, or we can go through it fast. So you can do this for any solve, and I will often share my solves the same way. And we'll actually do that in just a second. So under these, underneath all this is a library called cubing.js, which I'm not going to go into detail, but here's a sort of like small taste of everything that's going underneath to support all these puzzles. But I promised you Bluetooth, so we're going to go straight to Bluetooth. So we have in the library a way to connect to these physical speed solving puzzles over Bluetooth. And when I connect, I do a move and it gets sent wirelessly, which is really nice for a few reasons. But the nicest one is that you can track solves automatically. So if I get myself a scramble like this, I guess I don't even have to handle the puzzle in view. I can just go like this. And you can see I scrambled this correctly, so this matches up. And now I can do a solve. So I'm going to mark the end of the scramble. I'm just going to do a normal speed solve. Okay. So we had a slight tracking issue. I was hoping this wouldn't happen. But if this worked, we would be able to automatically get an analysis and break this down like a speedcuber would. I'm sorry, but I guess we missed a move, and that's just sometimes that happens with physical hardware. So this is fairly new, actually, all this hardware in the last few years. And there are some puzzles that don't exist with Bluetooth yet. But we don't have to necessarily be limited by that. We can still connect the puzzle and start applying it to a puzzle we don't have. So that's a Megaminx, that's this puzzle. I don't have a Bluetooth Megaminx, but I just inputted some moves and we get to do the moves on a Megaminx. And like Tom showed, we can adjust this to be Crystal Pyraminx, which is harder to speed solve, or the Pentultimate, which is definitely much harder to speed solve, but we can do this here, and I can have this in my hand and I can make even crazier things. And so this is pretty fun. But it doesn't just stop there because we don't just have Bluetooth input, we also have Bluetooth output. So this is a cubing robot that will let you send moves to it. And in this case, I'm inputting moves on one cube and solving them on another. So I'm sort of doing a cyborg solve where the robot is my hands. And this goes even farther. Here's a friend. During the pandemic, we can't meet up, but they did a solve on their computer that happened on a physical cube in front of me, which is really fun to play around with. I could talk about applications, but it's really kind of just fun. And then we could also just turn this whole thing upside down. So this is virtual reality. And so I have a headset and I programmed, this is the first time I got cube moves working using the physical controllers that come with the headset. But I made it so you can take the cube and make it larger, and now it's all around you, and it's the size of a room, and that's a thing you cannot hold in your hand physically, except you kind of are. And so this is really cool. Here's my friend Ravi solving this from the inside, and you can still speed solve it the same way. It's just a totally different experience. And of course, because Cubing.js is powering all of this, you can now connect this with a Bluetooth cube and put it around you. And some Bluetooth cubes track orientation. So you move them around you, and now the puzzle is moving around you, and it's totally wild and totally fun. And I'm sort of getting ahead of myself. So I want to briefly talk a little bit about motivation, because I kind of want to go the other way from virtual to physical puzzle as well. So I mentioned the World Cube Association. I'm on the regulations committee, which handles the list of official events. And we've only had 2 changes in the list of official events in the last 13 years, because let's just say changes can get very controversial, because official events get these high quality speed solving puzzles and there's active interest, but unofficial events don't get these puzzles. So there's low interest, so the puzzles don't get made, so they stay unofficial. And this is a hard problem to tackle, and the people are tackling it in a few ways, but hopefully I've shown you that you can use the virtual puzzles and also the Bluetooth puzzles to sort of close the gap between puzzles that you do and don't have speed solving versions for. So I'm hoping this lets us explore new events more easily, which right now is just fun, but my ultimate end goal here is education, because the cube is a great object that, you know, middle schoolers will pick it up, and they'll pick it up and the colors are fun, but then they start asking, hey, I disassembled and reassembled my cube and now I can't solve it. Why is that? And this middle schooler can now basically understand college level math, and you can start asking these questions about other puzzles. And we're hopefully well on our way to be able to show lots of different concepts in the browser to make math more accessible and interesting. And on the subject of accessibility, I have one last demo, which this is not public. You guys are the first to see this. This is called speech cubing. I can talk moves. I don't need my hands. R, U, R prime, U, play, Megaminx, Twizzle. All right, so you can see there's a lot to do. We are just getting started. You can go to twizzle.net to play around with a lot of this. This has been browsers, Bluetooth, and virtual reality.